see so many familiar faces and some not familiar faces. So I'll tell first a little bit about myself and my history. I think maybe some of you already know, some of you don't, but 3 years ago I went through kind of a major life health crisis where I dealt with some serious health issues. To begin with that, from pretty much birth, I was a long sufferer of allergies and eczema, neurodermitis, which pretty much haunted me through my whole childhood and adult life, with periods where it was better and worse. But pretty much from 13-year-old, I've been on topical steroids pretty much non-stop. And every doctor I consulted says, well, God put this disease in your cradle, so we can't do much, but here's a steroid cream for you. Use it and everything's gonna go away. Well, then I lived in Germany, and pretty much same prescriptions that I was getting back in Russia, I was getting in Germany. I moved to US, I was hoping, oh, the medicine here. No, same. All steroids. It got to the point where my allergies were so bad that I was getting steroid shots every 3 months. And from that, my thyroid was getting worse, my liver was getting worse, I had constant skin infections, so I was always on antibiotics. Anyways, everything was just going to hell. Well, my thyroid was falling apart, then my heart started falling apart, and I realized, you know what, I'm a 35-year-old woman that's taking always prescription medications. I'm always on something. I can't live. I have a drawer full of pills and creams. So literally my story, if you guys ever watch documentary Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead, did anybody watch that? Yeah? So I was that guy. I was not fat, but I was sick. And then doctor said, well, your immune system is not good, it's reacting to everything, we'll put you on CellCept, which is a drug that people get when they have organ transplants. So that means getting to the doctor's office every other day for IVs. And then when I go into IVs, I'm gonna get my liver tested every other day in case it fails. So I'm like, what a life I have ahead. And then I have to walk around in a mask because everything brings infection in my house. I already clean my house with bleach every day. I wash my, what do you call it, pillows, bedding every day, my towels every day, because everything bringing me infections. I can't travel, I can't fly, I can't stay in a hotel because I get infections. I said to hell with everything. When next staph infection was raging through my body, I came to my doctor and said, I'm not going to take the antibiotics you prescribed. Any other ideas? And the doctor said, well, you're going to kill yourself. You have a staph infection. This is deadly. I said, well, this is my, third, fourth staph infection this year. I think I'm done with drugs. So I started doing my research. And I went to Chinese medicine practitioners and naturopaths and herbalists and started reading and watching documentaries. Especially inspiring was for me Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead and Forks Over Knives and things like that. And I said, you know what, these people changed their life and health, so I think I can do that too. And I just quit all the drugs all at once. My husband can confirm this was a rough time. Because when you have years of using steroids, they have to come out of your body somehow. So I went through a year of major detox. And one of the things that really helped me to go through this hard time was love and support of my family and my dear husband. And thank you, Lars. And juicing. I found this as an amazing, amazing tool that literally transformed my life. And I started doing it. I said, I'm going to do it every day. And I did. I just promised myself that. Like in the documentary, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, I'm just gonna juice. We'll see what happens. And so, that's my history. I started thinking a lot about my nutrition at that time and reading a lot about nutrition. And what I found out that according to recent studies that Johns Hopkins researchers did, they tested 24,000 people, and only 11% of those 24,000 people do eat 2 or more servings of fruit and vegetables a day. How many servings of fruit and vegetables a day do you think we need for health? Any ideas? 8 something? What are other numbers? Any thoughts? So USDA, US Department of Agriculture, thinks that 2 to 4 servings of fruit a day and 3 to 5 servings of vegetables a day. A person needs to stay healthy. Now a serving can be a cup or like a piece of banana or an apple. So total maybe like 5 to 8 servings. Now there are other studies, dietary guidelines from Americans. They say 3 to 13 servings of fruit and vegetables might be good to stay healthy. So that's equivalent of 6.5 to 8 cups of fruits and vegetables per day. Do any of us here consume that many fruits and vegetables?
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes? Yeah?
Not yet.
I know some do, some don't. Yeah, it's kind of like all over the board. Well, I realized I definitely don't consume that much when I started my cleanse. I definitely did not. Not that I was eating unhealthy, I was eating organic, but I ate a lot of like starches and pasta and meat. I ate, not that I ate burgers and fries every day, but from time to time I would eat a burger. I didn't drink Coke or I didn't have coffee, but overall I considered my diet pretty healthy. It was not enough, turns out. It was not enough. I just did not get the nutrients. My body was not getting the nutrients to recover. And so what do you think, how much juice do you think you need to drink to cover this amount, this nutritional requirement of fruits and vegetables?
3 glasses.
3 glasses?
3 liters.
3 liters? It's a 16-ounce glass of juice. 16 ounces, just about this big. So 1 glass of juice can pretty much cover all your needs of nutrients for a day. How easy is that? Yes?
What about fiber?
We're gonna come to that. Yeah. Some people say, yeah, but what about fiber? There is a good, always a debate.
So you're saying 1 serving is 16 ounce?
16-ounce glass of juice covers your nutritional needs for fruits and vegetables for the day. So that's 6 to 8 cups.
So it's 5 to 8, let's say, 5 to 8 servings a day. Like
Yeah,
that,
for sure.
And that's only 16?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So that's about it.
You're gonna see. You're gonna see how much you have left over in your juice.
Yeah. So some people say, would a smoothie be good? Would that be a good choice? And I say definitely. There's always a debate. Some people say, oh, you should drink juice. Or some people say, no, smoothies are better because they have fiber. Because juice, you take the fiber out. So people always argue. And some people like me say everything is good. Smoothies are definitely great. Please make your green smoothies. And please make your juice. They are just good for different reasons. So blending, when you blend something, it definitely has fiber. And it has calories. It's However, when you drink that blended beverage, it's pretty much like a meal. It slows down the absorption of nutrients. It takes a while to work through all that fiber that is in that smoothie. So the nutrients are not immediately available to your body. When you drink a juice, after about 10 to 15 minutes, the nutrients you just drank are immediately available to your body. They go immediately into your bloodstream because your body didn't have to work hard to process all this fiber. So that's the reason. So smoothies are good. They can be consumed in place of a meal. If you don't have time to make something, it's a time saver for people who are in a hurry. Cleanup with smoothies is minimal. You just wash your blender. When with juicer, you have to still disassemble and scrub and wash the different juicer parts. So juicing really is helpful if you have a nutritional deficiency, which I'm sure many people have. Most people have that. If you have a weak digestive system, juice is very easy to digest and process. So, and the nutrients are more available to the body and they're available sooner. And also another benefit of juicing is that it allows you to process and basically consume larger amount of fruit and vegetables in one setting. So how many vegetables do you put in a smoothie versus how many vegetables and fruit go in the juice? So all nutrients from this bunch of food are going to end up in one juice. That's pretty good. And juicing is good for healing. Like I mentioned my story. It's great for people who have big digestive tracts, like I did, because mine was ruined from all the medications and antibiotics I used. And many people have problems with their digestive tracts. So juicing is good for that. And because of juices are absorbed quickly, some people are worried that it's going to spike your blood sugar. That is a concern that usually people have. However, if you add dark leafy greens to your juice, then that will kind of mellow out the effects of sugar. That's why I always say add the dark leafies to your juices, and that can kind of kill the effect of the sugar on your body. I don't have a problem with sugar, but some people do, and that might be one thing to look out for. And it's a personal choice. Some people like smoothies better. Some people just like the consistency and the fullness of a smoothie, and some people like thinner consistency, like a juice. So it can be a personal preference. The point is to get as many fruits and vegetables into your body as possible. That's the most important part. So hopefully I answered this question. Another thing I wanted to mention here. So why juice? I mentioned that nutrition, let's think about it. When you chew one carrot, you have a carrot? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have a carrot. When you chew one carrot, when you chew it, how much beta-carotene do you get from this carrot when you chew it? Does anybody know? About 3%. When you chew a carrot, it's a great thing to eat carrots, but you get only 3% of beta-carotene that is in that carrot. When you cook this carrot, it's going to be even less, because pretty much a lot of nutrients and stuff is already ruined through cooking. When you juice this carrot, how much beta-carotene you will get? 100%. One more reason to juice your carrots and other vegetables, and to get 100% of nutrition than this vegetable has.
Because it's digested better, right?
Yeah, it's digested. It's easy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what if you juice all these fruits and vegetables, how much pure clean nutrition will your body get? Pretty much all of it, you know. People say, oh, I just make a vegetable ragu, I stir fry. Well, it's good too. Please do make your vegetable dishes, and it's great to cook, it's comforting, but a glass of juice in the morning, and you can be safe, you know, okay, I have all my servings of fruits and vegetables for the day. I've done my job. So this is good reason to juice. And it's absorbed within 10-15 minutes from the drinking the juice. So that's great. And it will energize just about every cell in your body, and you will feel the energy from it. Juice gives your digestive tract a rest. When you drink the juice, you didn't have a meal, you don't have to process through something, and your digestive system just rests. Just soaks in the nutrients and relaxes. And what happens when our digestive system relaxes? There is a lot of energy that it saves. And this energy will go, instead of digesting all this food, this energy goes immediately to fight inflammation, to boost your immune system, to just give the nutrients to cells of your body. So that's what happens. Drinking juice also flushes your system of waste. This has also happened. Digestive system relax. It can flush out toxins and detoxify just about every cell in your body in this time. And dark leafy greens especially, they contain minerals, vitamins, amino acids. So how much goodies you will get? Yes, please.
About the toxins, so there are a bunch of very, not controversial, but contradictive articles about detoxing, because body detox itself, so it doesn't need help to detox, because if you're healthy enough.
If you are healthy enough.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the point.
Yeah.
Who here is healthy enough? I don't know many healthy people, to be honest. Yes, young teenagers, yes, but overall we are exposed every day to toxins, even by sitting in the car. If car has been in the sun and all the plastics are heated, it's literally streaming into your air and you breathe it in. When you walk on the street, cars drive by, it's not clean air. We just overwhelmed in 21st century. We are just overwhelmed with toxins. So.
No, it makes sense to me, but you know, when I read some articles that say, okay, you don't need that, and I said, well, I don't have a proof other way, or you know, one way or another. So
I have no scientific proof, I just have this body. And it has proven to me that, look, I have skin that I used to not have. Pretty much all my body was covered in eczema.
I can prove it, I saw her.
You know, some of you might know that I have staph and big wounds. So my body proves me that what I'm doing is right. That's all. And I did
think it's not
major.
just juicing, it's something else. It's diet, exercise, and
Absolutely,
everything. Yeah.
absolutely. Everything contributes to that. We are just talking about juicing for now. Yeah. So fresh, and I'm talking here, by the way, not about commercial juices that you buy in the store. I'm talking about juices that are handmade, so to speak. Because the commercial juices, they just mostly are pasteurized. That means the vegetables have been heated. They went through a long commercial process, and pretty much everything good that was in those vegetables or fruits is gone. Except sugar and sometimes good taste, but it's good to make fresh. And when we squeeze fresh vegetables, what do we get? Vitamins, minerals. We also get one little important things called enzymes. Let's talk about a little bit about enzymes, because not many people think about it when they make juices. So what are enzymes? They are little things that might be the key to preventing a lot of chronic diseases and aging. So as we age, our body produces less enzymes naturally. And one main reason to drink the juice, because the vegetables and fruits provide us with fresh enzymes to our body. Just about everyone's diet is made out of cooked foods. And cooked foods, there is no enzymes. They pretty much have been ruined by heating. When we microwave food, when the food is pasteurized or canned or somehow going through a commercial process, enzymes are ruined. When you get fresh fruits and vegetables, you get the fresh enzymes. And they are required for just about any chemical reaction in the body, everything. From our cells and organs and muscles and tissues and bones, everything functions because we have enzymes. And our immune and digestive system also need enzymes. For example, our spleen and pancreas and kidneys. In liver, everything depends on enzymes pretty much. No vitamin or hormone or mineral can function or be absorbed without these enzymes. So for example, what enzymes I'm not gonna go into specific different enzymes today. I think that's a whole other conversation about digestion. But just to tell you that our ability to think and feel, it also depends on enzymes. And when we don't have enzymes in our body, even psychologically we start feeling down. We have fatigue and depression, so people kind of don't put enough value on enzymes. And more research shows that with chronic diseases and low energy levels, this is all attributed to low enzyme content in the blood. Some might say we do have naturally occurring enzymes in our bodies. And for example, when you chew food really long, let's say 30 to 50 times, how many of you chew food really well? We pretty much swallow it unchewed. If you chew food really long, your body develops and releases the enzymes to process the food. So drinking a juice pretty much will give you a chance to get the enzymes that are in fresh vegetables and fruits, and it's going to give your digestive tract a good enzymatic boost, so to speak. And when we have stress, when we are tired, this might be a good pick-me-up, not only because of sugars and glycose that it has, but also because of enzymes. So they are very important. We can also replace enzymes by making raw foods like fermented foods, sauerkraut, and drink kombucha, and other fermented fruits and vegetables that people sometimes make at home. This is one good way to replace that. But juice definitely will give you that for sure. Another thing that is good in juices that I want to mention real quick is phytonutrients. There are these little nutrients that are just magic for disease prevention. For example, anthocyanin. This compound is usually in blue and red vegetables. For example, blueberries, eggplants, sometimes in the cherries, red, purple onions, they all have that. Ellagic acid found in berries and pomegranates that may help slow growth of cancer cells. Glucosinase found in cruciferous vegetables like kale and other ones. Also very potent cancer fighters. Now kale is so popular all over the place, and one good thing that it has, it's ellagic acid. Glucosinase, another good phytonutrient, found in also in cruciferous vegetables. Hesperidin, found in citrus fruit, we talked about it. It reduces inflammation. Lutein is another popular one in green leafy vegetables like spinach, kale, and collards. Helps preventing eye diseases, including cataracts, and also good for muscular degeneration. So another phytonutrient is lycopene, very good one, associated with red things, red fruit and vegetables, that may lower risk of prostate cancer. It is in tomatoes and watermelon and grapefruit. We have mostly women here today, but we had some grapefruit in our juice just now, so we have lowered our risk of prostate cancer. Then another one that I want to mention is phytoestrogens found in foods. And it's especially in soy foods and flax, for those who want to make flaxseed milk or sesame seeds. These things are mimicking estrogen in our bodies. They help with menopause. They are associated with lowering the risk of bone loss and reducing risks of cancer. Another one is quercetin. We're gonna juice some apples later. Berries, kale, and onions have it. May help reduce risk of asthma. So resveratrol, found in purple stain fruit, blueberries, and grapes, anti-inflammatory, and been associated with life extension in some studies. So see how many good things there are there? That's why juice a rainbow every day. Get all those good nutrients and phytonutrients into your body to help really cure diseases or prevent them. Yeah, I think one big thing is let's not wait until our bodies are giving up on us and we get sick and get to the point where I was. But let's prevent them now. That's a big point. Let's not wait until cancer hits us to start preventing the disease. Let's do it now. So one other thing that I want to mention, and then probably we'll make a juice. And I think I mentioned that already. Why juice at home? You might say, oh, I can go to the store and buy a juice, and I don't know, in a bottle. Now it's very popular to get those juice cleanses in a bottle. Many companies make those juice cleanses that are apparently from raw juices. Well, one juice like that can cost up to $10, so it's very expensive. And when you juice at home, you're definitely gonna save some money, and you know what you bought, what kind of quality vegetables you bought, so it's a big money saver. And also, if a company makes that juice, you don't know what process it went through. Maybe that juice was standing in an open container somewhere, maybe it got heated, maybe it was exposed to heat, so pretty much enzymes and nutrients are already killed in that juice. So it's really good to drink your juice pretty much immediately after you make it. Within 10 to 15 minutes after you make a juice, the enzymes are dying out. So the enzymes content gets lower. So that's why it's very important to make juice and drink it. Yes, you can store juice in a tight, closed container, preferably glass, so you don't have plastic leaking into your juice from a plastic bottle. But make a container full of juice and close tight with the lid so no air gets inside, so there is no oxidizing of the juice, because then again it loses its properties. So only freshly made juices is really good for you. So that's that. I mentioned how to consume a juice. And another thing is good to shop for organic fruits and vegetables. I think it's simple. Why to buy organic? There is no pesticides, there is no fungicides or whatever they use on the field. Because to have organic field, the farmer is required to have the field free of conventional growth for 3 years. So the dirt on which this vegetable grows is cleaner than conventional food. And another good reason to use organic is because the non-organic fruits and vegetables can have up to 50% less nutrients in them. So why buying a cheap apple when it has 50% less nutrients in it? There is no point. You're just wasting your money. So buy organic. Best take the juice in the morning when you wake up, because that's when your digestive tract is ready to drink, ready to get rid of toxins. Just flush your system clean with that juice and just energize and put the nutrients in there for the day, so you know you're good, you're covered. And you digest it in 10-15 minutes. After that, it's good to have breakfast or your wonderful smoothie or whatever you want to eat that day. So don't eat for 15-20 minutes after you drink your juice. And if you want to make juice ahead, if you say, oh, I have a busy morning, I don't have time to make it, then you know what, make it at night. Put it in a container tight with a lid. Make sure that there is not much air in that container to prevent oxidizing. So that's about it. And let's build our juice. I would say we probably start with a basic green juice. We already have, my lovely assistants have prepared some vegetables and washed them. I would say when you wash your vegetables to make a juice, I don't like peel carrots. I just use a brush because, you know, in the skin of vegetable, organic, especially organic ones, there are a lot of nutrients. If you buy non-organic, then pretty much all bad stuff is going to be in the skin. So then get rid of that skin. But with organic, just brush it well. With beets, sometimes I might peel it if they're especially greedy, but overall just wash it, brush it, make sure they're clean, and just juice them. And one thing on building a juice I want to mention. So first, pick your base. Pick your watery vegetables first. What's going to be the base? For example, zucchini, cucumber is good, celery is pretty watery, maybe beets and carrots can work as well. That's going to be the base. And pick your leaves, pick your leafy greenies, kale and spinach, chard, maybe some dandelion greens, parsley is good.
Chard, what is this? По-русски это как? Chard.
Chard, I don't know.
А покажите.
Chard is this. Swiss chard.
Свекла?
These are just this big, leafy, juicy. They can be red and they can be yellow or white stems.
Wow. So it's not beet.
It's not beet, no. But beets are also good. The stems from the beets are great too. Yeah, you can use those. And also you can pick your fruits. I prefer to have about, let's say, 80% vegetables and 20 to 10% of fruits. So I don't overload on sugar. And so about 80% vegetables, 10 to 20% of fruit. And you can pick an extra kick to your juice. For example, like a cilantro or mint or ginger, if you wanna.
Yesterday I picked mint. It was
Yeah, mint is good. It's good.
terrible. It was disgusting.
Really? Don't use too much.
I put once couple leaves. It ruined everything.
Really?
I mean, I finished it, of course, but I don't know.
It can be also like a personal preference. You
I
know?
love mint,
You
but
do?
it just the combination of the all leaves.
It was a little too strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So turmeric is good if you want all that anti-inflammatory properties. Ginger, of course, is wonderful. Lemon, just a little bit of lemon is great. So that's how I make my.
Yeah, if somebody doesn't like celery, just add lemon or lime.
A lemon or lime.
It dissolves the whole celery
Celery
taste and-
experience. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
perfect.
And just experiment. Just don't be afraid to experiment. Some people say, oh, give me a good recipe of juice. I'm like, yes, I have good juicing books, but I don't really use recipes because I just use whatever I find in my fridge on that day, whatever is left over. And I just want to mention that for this presentation, I used just these two really good books that I found helpful. One of them was Mimi Kirk, the ultimate book of modern juicing. I really like this one. Has a lot of good information here. You find information on different fruits and vegetables as well. Here, which one is good for which organs or diseases. So this is really good. I like that. And also, this book is good, Crazy Sexy Juice by Kris Carr. She has a lovely story. She has cancer, and she wrote this book. She still has cancer. She's fighting it, but she wanted to help people to get healthy, so she wrote this Crazy Sexy Juice. There is also Crazy Sexy Juice, Crazy Sexy Cancer documentary that she put together. So good, very inspirational, colorful books with lovely pictures, and there are good recipes there if you want to use the recipes. It also has a lot of information on like wheatgrass and juicers and what you want to use. Some people in the beginning asked me about juicers. What juicers? Yeah. What juicers are good to use? I prefer. Generally speaking, there are three types of juicers. There are centrifugal juicers. Most of them are pretty inexpensive, and that's what I started with. I just had like a $60 juicer that I started with. And then better juicers that use slower masticating process is the masticating juicers like this. They are slow, they don't heat the food too much, because when you heat it too much the enzymes die out, and we all care about enzymes. I told you why. So it's good to use a slow, low heat process. Now, if you want to go all the way and get a juice press, like a Norwalk juicer or something, when you say, I have a 2,500 in my account that I want to burn, that's the way to go. And usually the juicing clinics use that, because this is the least harmful process for pressing the fruits and vegetables. But in any case, I would recommend the masticating juicer for sure, because masticate literally means knead, grind, or chew the substance. And it is usually a drier pulp that comes out, so you kind of save a little bit of money on your food. There's just not so much that goes into waste. So, and centrifugal means rotating things, so it's directing or moving from center. And the centrifugal juicers have a very high spinning action, and that's kind of not so good, because it kind of ruins the texture of the cells of the vegetables and fruits, and they heat a lot. They also, I think, a little louder. So anyways, masticating juicers are good. They cost anywhere from $2 to $5 or so $100. If you are serious about juicing, that might be a way to go long term. So that's what. There is a new kind of juicers that emerges. It's the upright juicers. They are similar to centrifugals, but operates similar to centrifugal juicers, but operates like a masticating juicer. I think this one is one of those. Yeah, they have usually good reviews these days, these guys. Yep, and good brands are, Omega is really popular, Hurom is good. I think the Tri-Best, I think that's a good juicer to use. I have an old Champion, very kind of an ugly shape, but very reliable. I've been happy. And if you want to get a citrus press, I definitely recommend one of these guys. So it's very easy to operate, you know, go like in Las Vegas, just pushing that handle of the juice. I don't know, I feel it somehow pleasing to just do this. So that's about it. Any questions before we start juicing? No questions?
Are there any don'ts, like why you don't want to juice, or there's something that you would never juice, like any fruits, vegetables that you wouldn't
Good
recommend?
question. Something that you don't want to juice. I juiced a leek once, and I juiced it towards the end of when I made most of my juice. I thought, why don't I put the leek through the juicer? Oh my god. That was disgusting. I couldn't drink that juice. I did drink it anyways because I just can't simply throw away juice. It's like the holy grail. I will not lose a drop of juice. And I drank it. It was horrible. But some people might like it. Like
Lichen was another thing for me.
Yeah. Onions. I know somebody who makes shots when her family gets sick. A friend of mine, she just juices like onion, garlic, and some other things, and they drink it as a shot. Hardcore. But that's antiviral, anti-inflammatory, anti-breath. But probably good if you can digest it. I don't know
As long as
of
both
anything
drink
that
it,
you
then it's
can
fine.
juice. You know, I've watched, there is Victoria Butenko, maybe some people heard of her, who is like the raw lady. And her son, Sergey, he like was showing, I was watching something on YouTube or somewhere. You can juice just about any grass, he was saying. Just like anything that grows, any grass you can juice. And he was just juicing all sorts of grass. Just foraging, you go to the forest and you can pick something to juice. So some people are hardcore.
I don't recommend that in some parts of the country.
In some, they'll juice like poison ivy or something.
Well, yeah, I was
probably
thinking
not
Jimson weed in the Midwest grows a lot, and that will make you high or crazy.
We don't want that. We want to be healthy, somewhat healthier,
Yeah.
not a sicker.
Yep.
So anyways, let's get to work, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank